Hello everyone, and here we have a new story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. Write how to improve my community, current topics, and the stories you are interested in, and much more. I read and listen to all the comments. People write me stories by mail from different countries. There are problems with translation. I apologize for this. I will work on it and try to fix these errors. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail, broadcast news stories. New videos on my channel are published once every 2 days at 7 p.m. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go! Hello, I want to tell you my story. The beginning of my life can hardly be called successful. My parents got married early. The mother was 18 years old, and my father is 21 years old. They loved each other very much. 10 months after a modest wedding, I was born. After a while, my mother realized that she could not live in poverty, that marrying my father is this fatal mistake. My mother found herself a rich lover and did not hesitate to leave my father. My dad was sad for a while, but soon he found a new girlfriend. It is clear that the son who was 3 years old made it difficult for him from starting a new life. My mother's lover also had no desire to raise someone else's child. My mom sent me to a boarding school and refused parental rights. She took me to the shelter, processed the documents, and disappeared from my life forever. That's how I was left an orphan with living parents. I won't tell you about my life in the shelter. Everything happened, both good and bad. In general, the time has come and I have become an adult, but I had nowhere to go, and I decided to join the Army. A year later, I entered the military university. After 4 years, I received the rank of lieutenant. I have served for almost 5 years. I've been everywhere. As a result, I was seriously injured. I had problems with my spine. In general, I was cured, but I was not fit for further service. I was paid a good allowance because I had the rank of captain. My civil specialty is a mechanical engineer. A month later, I got a job at the factory. Time passed, and during the year, I became the head of the shop. My advantage was engineering higher education. In general, my career was going uphill. And after 2 years, I became a deputy director. My career was fast, paced, that I also worked day and night. I thought a career was good, but it was time to start a family. I met a very beautiful girl. For 6 months, I courted this girl. We were having a good time, movies, restaurants, bars, and so on. We even went to Florida together. I realized that I really love her. From the moment we met, I did not hide that I grew up in a shelter. In general, by the time I was 32, I felt very good. I proposed to my girlfriend and she immediately agreed. That's how my family life began. My wife was 4 years younger than me. She worked in a beauty salon. We had enough finances. We lived and did not deny ourselves anything. One thing was bad. We couldn't make a baby. We went to the hospital and did examinations. The doctors gave a verdict. Everything was fine with us. We were recommended to try again. I really waited and hoped that we would succeed. In the end, I waited, but not for the children. We lived in a 3-room apartment. A year later, my wife has changed a lot. She changed her image, wardrobe, underwear, and so on. She was going to work every day as a holiday. I decided to ask, who is she trying so hard for? She replies that she wants to look good. She asked me if I was jealous of her, but jealousy was still far away. My wife didn't give me any reason to do that, but all her metamorphoses looked very suspicious. It seems from the outside that everything is clear, that she had a lover, but in real life, you believe your loved one to the last and do not want to notice the obvious. So I couldn't even think about the bad. After a while, my wife began to stay late at work. Then the birthday of the best friend, then an urgent order, then a visit to the client's house. My wife came home very late and spent hours in the bathroom. With me, she that affectionate like a cat, then hisses like a snake. Sometimes my wife made a scandal for no reason. Yes, undoubtedly she began to earn more money, but my instinct told me that something was wrong here. I already wanted to see what my wife does until late at night, but suddenly they send me on a business trip for a month. The partners have stopped the assembly line. I had to fly and help them urgently. When I left home, my wife even cried. She said she would miss me very much. I got emotional myself and almost cried. I promised my wife to call and come home as soon as possible. I kissed my wife and hugged her tightly. After that, I left for the airport. I checked in for the flight and immediately notified my wife. I was about to go to the landing, but my director called me and said that the conveyor had been launched. In general, I was allowed to go home. I tried several times to call my wife and make her happy, but my wife's mobile phone was disconnected. Probably discharged, I thought. On the way home, I bought champagne and flowers. I decided to spend a romantic evening with my wife. It's like I've grown wings. I quickly ran to the 4th floor and opened the front door with my key. I didn't knock on purpose, because I wanted to make a surprise. After entering the apartment, the light was on only in the bedroom. I thought my wife was reading a book. I cautiously opened the door and froze it. My wife had sex with a black man. They were so passionate about sex that they didn't even notice anything around them. I stood and silently watched the process. I was paralyzed. After a while, I politely started coughing. The man did not pay attention and continued to move his pelvis back and forth until my wife screamed and covered herself with a blanket. My wife's lover was not afraid and started attacking me. "Who are you? Get out of here, or you'll get trapped in the face," shouted my wife's lover. He began to strike a direct blow with a shout, "This is my girlfriend." I stepped to the right, dodging the blow, and smashed a bottle of champagne on his head. The bottle burst and the fragments mixed with foam scattered around the room. This black man collapsed on the floor. It looks like the supplement this man were clearly no need. After a while, I realized that I could have killed him. My wife screamed, but as soon as I looked at her, she immediately fell silent. I stepped over the motionless body of my wife's lover and went into the kitchen and drank a glass of water. For some reason, I was very thirsty. Suddenly, there was a noise in the bedroom, and after a while, the front door slammed. Probably the lover decided to escape home. It turned out to be a tenacious bastard. After 15 minutes, my wife came into the kitchen. She was trying to explain something to me and was whining pitifully like a dog. She tried to ask me for forgiveness. My wife started talking to me about the lack of attention. That I stopped seeing her as a girl. She also said that she changed out cheated on me love for me. According to my wife, the more a girl loves a man, the more often she cheats on him. She added that if I forgive her, she will give birth to my children and we will be a happy family. These words shocked me. I listened to this nonsense in silence and wanted only one thing, so that she would quickly disappear from my life. We were quickly divorced because we had no common property and no children. That's just this situation did not please me at all. After the divorce, my wife did not give up trying to come back to me. She even came to my work and in front of all my colleagues cried and said how much she loved me, that I'm punishing her very cruelly for an innocent pranks. My wife's lover tried to deal with me, but I told him that if I saw him one more time, I'll cut off his penis. I was very convincing. Therefore, he no longer sought to meet me. I do not know how my wife's life turned out. I wasn't interested. I came to the conclusion that I need to change my life. I quit my job and sold my apartment. Now I live near the ocean. I found a new girl and I'm living with her, but I won't repeat my mistakes. I now carefully approach the choice of a girl. So don't repeat my mistakes and be careful with the girls. All the best. If you liked the video, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Now we will move on to the opinion of the author of the channel. The opinion of the author of the channel. By tradition, I want to wish strength and patience to our hero. After listening to your story, I realized only one thing, that your wife lives in another world. How can you love a person so much and cheat on him? Maybe I don't understand something and our community will write a comment on what she meant. In general, you did everything right and started a new life yourself. Advice: don't go back to the past and always go ahead. If you have watched to the end, I want to say thank you very much. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.